At this point, absolutely not, because the publisher examines 115% and states, "Gentlemen."
How long do you think it will take for your user to fully pay off?
Gameplay now reminds me of a Bitcoin. He reminds me of a primitive hyper-visual project. Do whatever you want, no traffic.
The entire gameplay now reminds me of Bitcoin. He reminds me of some extremely primitive hyper-visual project.
Hello friends, we're starting a new game analysis. Today we'll explore a Bitcoin genre known as Ragnarok Idle PvP Arena. Join us as we delve into the fascinating world of this unique gaming experience and uncover its secrets. Gleb and an entire team will be representing her. They are developers, and now I kindly ask you to subscribe to our channel and like it. Your support is greatly appreciated. Well, and as usual, Gleb will tell a little about the project and we will start.
My name is Gleb Shishov. I am the CEO of Theoretical Studio, our game Rigorol Arena, a strategy game, a non-core direction, a collectible card game with creatures that can be placed on the field and fight against other opponents. We are located in Kazakhstan. Currently, this is our initial product and we are in the process of entering the market.
I understand that this is something in the style of auto chess?
Yes, that's correct. That's right. In a more casual manner, in auto chess we have shifted away from intricate mechanics, and we aim to emphasize it as a competitive advantage that we are more accessible to enter such a segment as auto chess.
You also need to introduce Denis, who appeared at our meetings, I think, literally either for the first or second time. Denis Yashanov, presently serving as a marketing producer in our team, specifically within the CAS.AI team's marketing department. We commence with Victoria. Vika, please enlighten me with some details regarding ASO, the subject we are discussing at the moment.
Hello everyone. Yes, today we will have an interesting time. Immediately demonstration. Let's go straight to the market. Let's see what's happening with our application. There is a video. It immediately starts interesting. There is a little action. I love such things. So you immediately grab the attention of your user. No comments on video. Length is 35 seconds. Optimal. Everything is cool. Great. I do not have any inquiries from the fundamentals perspective. With respect to screenshots, I have none to inquire about. I would still play with them. They are in the same theme. I like it. They reflect the meaning of the game. There are focal inscriptions. The only thing that I felt when I first opened it was that you had 2 screenshots because of this inscription. Not clear. You left one screenshot here and the second one there, where the second part of this inscription.
That's interesting. We bet.
Here. But this is mine. This is the visual part. Listen, I like it. Someone doesn't like it. It's all needed for tests. No need to change anything right away. No remarks from the ASO point of view at the moment. There's a screen display showing what's happening with focus labels all in one style, so it's well done from an ASO perspective. Thank you. Regarding the icon, in general, I believe that the icon needs to be worked on regularly, constantly, especially in gaming applications, especially in Android. No screenshots, no videos, only an icon, for instance, a rating and so forth, here. With an icon, it's a constant process that needs to be tested, increased and added to so that it conveys the essence of this game and a person immediately understands, oh, this is cool, this is great. However, in general, the game character is considered a classic in the gaming industry, and as of now, there is a lack of comments or feedback. With regards to ASO himself, there are a multitude of comments. At this moment, we will make a transition to ASOMobile. Let's open ASO Creator right away, it will be easier. The title is only filled with 22 characters out of 30. This cannot be allowed. The title, it is indexed as quickly as possible and should be relied upon, so it should be filled in as much as possible. The same with the brief description, only 46 instead of 80, so it requires rewriting. The text itself is written in 3000 characters. I checked it in Text Analyzer. There is no spam here. In general, there are basic key queries, but they can be expanded. They can be added a little more often in order to make ranking easier and better. And in the future, if you promote the application, positions will grow easier. Saima Ayosa. Here is a story that bears resemblance to the one previously mentioned. You have transmitted the keys. The keys have been documented without the use of commas in the written format. If I'm not mistaken, there are also not 100 characters. Well, we can check now in general, or later. So we would also like to work with iOS. Here they either filled Mexico completely or didn't fill it.
No, our current plan is to release in Mexico and on cross-locale at a later point in time.
In any case, yes, adjacent locations must be filled in order to increase the pool of keywords that you can place, so as to enhance the number of search terms available. Here, what else? Let's compare it with the competitors that you have sent over for us to evaluate and consider. No ratings at present.
Very simple. Odd is this regarding Android, correct? There ought to be ratings for Android. We have 29 ratings there, but it is strange that they are not displayed here.
Did you buy them?
No. We just went in organically. They left comments for us. We answered all of them.
This is a normal story. Google Play and App Store delete reviews and ratings, especially for new applications. They may not publish them for a long time, then publish them. For example, they may publish delete. This is a normal practice. Don't be scared.
They are in different countries. Probably you have some country included, and that's why.
Oh, so we're discussing the states. About the states you have. No states. You don't have grades in the states, it's empty, and accordingly, for USA users you are, so to speak. A brand new empty application, which currently has no response, no rating, and no review, needs to be worked on or have some scammers added to it. Here, and make an effort to generate these reviews organically or there, artificially, but in any case, this situation needs to be corrected and addressed as soon as possible. Okay, let's proceed to the questions. Any questions in sight? Yes, they're visible. We talked about this yesterday, delved into it further, and now let's quickly review these matters, as they'll also be of interest to us. Sure. On tests, how to conduct them, how many are needed, what volume. In general, no exact number, but I would still recommend, if talking about Android, then about 500. Here, for each option to take, and accordingly, if there are 2 icons there, then we need more than 1,000 installations there. If we have 3 icons there, 1,500, we're off and running. How is it better to run both tests of the App Store page? Is traffic acquisition required, or is it displayed from organic display? Ideally, organic. In any case, organic is the top. In terms of the fact that it is maximum, yes, there, your target user, and accordingly, it is important for us to have a response specifically from him. Here. Therefore, it is desirable to do the test through organic matter. Motives, if you start, he will pour into you, he will set you up for any icon, so parallel A/B tests and motive cannot be poured. Here. Because yes, the process will drag on for a long time for you. Here. If you are doing advertising, then there is such a moment that, the user still makes decisions more often before clicking. So not entirely up-to-date data will also be accessible and provided for conducting tests.
In analytics, ads and motivational traffic will be mixed, but why?
Indeed, it is preferable to carry out the task on organic material if feasible. Here. And then we'll see.
Hey, please let me go. If we presently have no organic traffic on EOS, it is more advantageous for us to commence purchasing motivation and advertising at this moment. Best course of action for us at this stage.
Update the OS for best results. After that, you can slowly start, for example, pouring traffic in order to raise search queries to the top. Start getting organic traffic. If we don't fit the budget or something else, or it's not indexed, this can happen, so you need to play with the koshka, because it's not simple, not cool. Here, you can try to buy some unmotivated. I always welcome when traffic comes from different sources. More traffic marks higher positions, higher rankings overall for your application. Just a motive is such a tool that allows you to specifically break through the tops for each key, yes, there, despite some very popular applications that occupy the first position. In general, everything is combined, everything is in progress, there is no such thing as an ideal path, this one. Therefore, does the act of changing the display icon in the App Store have any impact on the indexing process? The icon does not have any impact on the indexing process, but in any case, if you update the application, it somehow has an effect on the overall situation. Accordingly, you may have some fluctuations up, fluctuations down, but in general there will be no sharp spikes or anything else. App Store. We created an event in the store and also published our NAPAs. On the game page, icons are displayed, they appear in searches. Now we are filling out an application for featuring in Apple. What other ways are there for organic promotion? Or, to demonstrate on the next one, simply make a purchase of more on iOS? So, well, in any case, sustaining top positions in search is akin to a continuous influx of new organic users that keeps flowing in consistently and contributes to the growth and success of the app. Regarding featuring, it is still a temporary story. It exists today, tomorrow it is gone. Regarding specifically attracting organic traffic, what can you do? Make a quality OSO, form a good rating, monitor reviews, ratings so that you have good fives on your wall. Here, yes, you can apply for featuring, you can add in-app purchases, you can add events. All of this will be a plus, but if you don't have traffic, let's say, I don't know, from your website at least, or some other motive, then most likely it will still be located somewhere in a high position and you won't have organic traffic. What is the total cost of ASA and how effective is it in terms of achieving objectives for mid-corporate projects? For each topic, it is evident that the price will vary. For each geo, the price will vary, that's it. But I generally love ASA if there is a budget for it, because with ASA you can easily, not easy, but at least roughly understand keywords to promote the application, for example, because you collect data and you see there are so many impressions, clicks, payments. Accordingly, you can quickly understand which are the coolest, relevant keywords for your specific application and then motivate to raise them to the top.
Approx, a budget frame, a budget range to input ASA and swim in.
You get it free there. As I recall, the cost $100 or $300 here. So hypothetically, you can start with $100. But there are projects that spend $3, $5, $10, $20, so it is not here.
Well, I comprehended it. Need to test, watch, good.
Although, yes, I think you can reach some limit if the topic is not so popular, then you will simply have a strong price increase for installation, and you will understand it anyway. Play market. Does presence of experimental feature WO Play Market impact game promotion in store? Here. No, it does not affect. I did not know yesterday, I found out. No, it does not affect. Here. But overall, yes, you can add it well as one of the traffic sources. Why not?
Yes, we have an opportunity. We're planning it.
I'm in favor of all possibilities. They must be implemented. Is it logical to write 50% of the game description in English and the remaining 50% in other languages? Here. In general, if you have a localized app inside, if you have a game console, it's all in the local language. I think you need to write the description in the local language, but if you have English search queries in this locale, you add them to the text, or there, as a separate message, but they must be specified.
So there is PvP, arena, multiplayer, and similar organisms that are present in PUBG.
Yes, these are typical requests in all countries. Well, in 99% of instances, they are written in English. Therefore, if your semantics includes 4. Semantics for Portugal, it includes English queries, you add them, and it's absolutely normal. Furthermore, description actually nobody reads. Based on stats, if I'm not mistaken roughly, well, maybe 5% read the description, and I'm reading this writing, and we need it specifically for ASO optimization. That is, perhaps there is a start, where you can still compose something similar to a sales text, but primarily we require it specifically for indexing for organic traffic. So. Our name is Regrow. Here we had a discussion. Yes, there is indeed such a significant moment. Even I, present in the US, just typed in Google Regrow, and that's where it all started for me. Hair remedy, something else. It is quite possible that people already have some, association specifically with this word. You have a new project, you don't have a large volume of traffic now, organics, you won't lose anything if you consider some other name. And overall, well, it is not like that. If you happen to be losing in that specific scenario, some big brand was being changed, yes, it would be devastating actually, and it's better not to do it that way. While starting, you could do anything with your brand, but I generally like it when there is a specific name for the app in order to, and moreover, a game so that there Vasya said Petya, and here is this application such and such, it's cool. Word of mouth is still effective, it works, users come and play this way due to its effectiveness.
We had planned to take the brand name, yes, but it turned out that the current name has associations and therefore perhaps it was necessary to change it. But it's not critical at the current level, I agree. We will change, consider options, and try, explore. See cool names they'll have?
Great. So kindly provide me with the instructions on how to generate OSU for cross-locale and App Store, if you may. If you have cross-locale, you must understand that words are matched in the App Store in a specific manner based on locale. So you have a keyword in the title, idle, and you have a keyword tycoon there, for example, in the keywords in the United States of America. Here they will create a phrase there, idle, tycoon, or their game in the title, tycoon in the keywords. So, tycoon game and so on will be created by you, but if you, for example, write a game in the USA and an idle you write in Mexico, you won't have a phrase. That is cross-locale ad search queries, but you have to create them uniquely, individually, separately from each other, simply understanding that Mexico will affect the USA. Accordingly, the keywords that do not fit in the USA, you specify in Mexico so that they match each other. If necessary in Mexico, you can repeat keywords, it is not an error, with those keywords that are in the States, just so that they also generate these phrases that could not be fitted into the United States of America.
Thanks a lot.
No problem. Play market. If players rate the experiment page with 3 stars, it's still the same app, you have a common rating, no matter where they rate it, it will still go to your overall rating. Just grades are visible depending on the specific location of the user. If in the States he gave a rating of 3 points here, your rating goes to the States, that's it. However, reviews, as I mentioned previously, are visible depending on the language selected on the phone device. So, if you're in the States but you have, for example, the Russian language on your phone, then you'll see reviews written in Russian, from the phone in Russian. However, the assessment is local, it goes specifically to the location where you are. How long does it take to review the feature request? Apple recommends submitting 1.5 to 2 months before the specified featuring date, while Google requires a minimum of 3 weeks. However, in general, these limitations are still significant, that is.
Applied to Google, it seemed to me they themselves look nowhere, no forums.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, you can fill in everything there, so you need a little more detail.
Strange, yes, I'll check then.
Oleg, are you present?
I'm here, of course.
Can you do feature engineering?
We surrender, everything is individual, not less than 3 weeks, and it is necessary for the editor to approve of your proposal.
Is there a form button located somewhere in the Play console?
This is a distinctive form. It is not present in the Play console. It is separate from it. You are required to fill it out and submit it in Google.
I saw such a form for Indie, if I'm not mistaken. Is this it? There is Indie featuring something from Google.
This is an Indie form for featuring, and there is a separate form for featuring. Okay, I got it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Do you believe in releasing an update without running an update ad? As I have already said, in general, well, any update of the application has consequences. To say something updating the icon or screenshots there, you won't get anything special. If you update the metro, you start reindexing, and there can be high volatility, your positions can fly to the top, disappear completely, or stay in place. So, to tie it to traffic? No, you don't have to tie it to traffic, so if you update the application, you can continue running according to the traffic plans. If we, once again, promote, it's better to update everything so that you have everything prepared, everything is cool and great, and then you start promoting, then you start driving traffic. See, some errors have been updated, keep flying. Now we don't have any creatives for iPhone 12 devices in the store. Does it affect indexing? Indexing doesn't matter, but if you have the opportunity to fill in this field for iPhone 12, you should fill it in, because now they will be shown on the 15th there. And that's kind of like, resonance can still exist with a person.
I understood.
Therefore, it is advisable to add. Could you please confirm if there are any groceries available? Will in-app purchases in the game's history conflict in search results when searching by game name? No, they will not conflict, that is the point. Actually, you have a crush on your application mostly, that is why you can call it that way. But I recommend not to call them just keywords, but relevant words. Since the name will be indexed, you can also get a higher ranking for relevant queries and thus receive more organic traffic. Plus, you can also set a different icon there. Well, in general, Napa is a very cool tool for attracting yes there and motivating organic traffic so that they have your offer.
We utilize both NAP and Vente. Regrettably, we have not witnessed a significant increase in terms of natural growth thus far, but perhaps we need to acquire more inventory to enhance our organic performance and render it more efficient.
Yes, at this moment, just a moment, I have not displayed. I will clarify to you at this time why you do not possess it. Why doesn't this produce any result? I missed the crucial thing. Now wait. Go to monitor. And what do we see?
A great deal. Oh, such a large amount. I comprehend. Yes, busy.
No indexing anywhere. Make nappies, make events, do whatever you want, no traffic. Well, that is, all this affects specifically organic traffic. This is Android. With iOS, it's roughly the same story, so. Now I will demonstrate. Here. You are not positioned at the top in any location. These are keywords, they possess low frequency. And in general, there is no traffic, even if you are at the top. Well, here you go, 1000 there, an exception here, and you can climb on it. However, the actions you perform on Payvante are already intended for applications that depend on organic traffic. And organic traffic mostly, yes, there, comes from search. Well, not enough.
Yes, we are just not found, so we need to utilize other more relevant keywords, correct?
No, here not even use other, more relevant keys. You don't have more relevant keys, here's your meaning. Because you have already ordered an ACE on Android? Yes, we have redesigned all the semantics for you, this is your semantics. Here are your relevant keywords, so you simply need to index them. ASA needs to be updated, you haven't updated it yet. You update ASA, then you buy traffic. More traffic, more keywords due to continuous process. Not indexed in a week, that's it. It's a continuous process, not like you got indexed there and goodbye. No, you have a continuous process in Android, it can last 2, 3, 4, sometimes 5 weeks. Especially now, lately, a very long indexing process. Indexing in iOS is fast. Here. But you said you'll review it yourself, you'll form it yourself as if you have semantics. And based on it, yes, you can fill it with metadata. Here. In iOS this happens quickly, that is if you change the met.
Excellent.
Yes. If you modify the existing meta within a week, the initial 1 or 2 weeks, you'll begin reindexing, observing how your rankings change, but there will still be no traffic. Regardless of whether you make the change to the association or not, it is highly unlikely that you will see any outcome. They made an ACE, then comes the organic. More precisely, further there is traffic, you promote key queries to the top, maybe you don't promote, but in any case you need traffic, you will have indexing. After that, there will be in-app and event, and then they will align for you. Due to your current lack of position, there is no traffic, and you don't need to do them.
Empty indeed, I do understand the situation.
Yes, well, such a story. Overall, probably that's it. If you have any questions, ask.
Oh, you possess exceedingly comprehensive answers. Thank you so much for your highly valuable insights. There are no more questions, supposedly.
No worries. Oleg, I have finished the task. Anything else you need?
So, Vika, thank you very much. Now, in a traditional manner, Zoryana, I would like to express my gratitude.
Hello, everybody. Nice to meet you all. Today, we will discuss user acquisition strategies. And I know you've also prepared lots of Q&As for me. We've communicated previously. Today, we will discuss everything so that our viewers can also find it interesting to follow us. Let's examine the competitors, observe their sourcing strategies, particularly regarding creatives. We should commence with the customary practice of posing questions and providing answers, enlightening our audience about the origins of our traffic and the outcomes we achieved.
Good. We made purchases on Unity, made purchases on Google, and made purchases on Facebook in the countries Brazil and Turkey. In the USA, Facebook quickly burned our money, but brought good results on iOS. But unfortunately, it got mixed up with organic, it got tangled up with organic, and it was difficult to track. We declined Google because it took a considerable amount of time to promote, and we ultimately chose Unity and attained CPI rates of 10 cents in Brazil and 40 cents in the United States of America. Recently, about a week ago, we made purchases, attracted 1,500 players with a total cost of $200. Anything else to say?
Yes, let's discuss in more detail. You mentioned that success was achieved through Unity. Why do you consider him in such a way? He was bought for 10 cents and is now valued at 40 cents according to the states. What was the LTV per user?
Here is an intriguing question because the LTV tension metric and the LTV Google Analytics metric demonstrate a difference in their measurements and calculations. In tension, they demonstrate that the loan-to-value ratio, LTV, for Brazil amounted to $5, whereas for iOS it reached $14. And in Google Analytics, they consistently write 0.04 cents. Therefore, it is unclear which analysts you choose to believe. Do we have confidence in the concept of tension?
In vain.
In vain, right? Yes.
Understand, right?
Then the counter question is, which metric reveals the truth that needs to be shown?
Google Analytics or tension, 4C, $14, it's LTV. Is it an advertisement?
In-app purchases, advertising and purchases within the app.
Good. How long do you think it will take for your user to fully pay off?
He isn't paying off for nothing. No, it doesn't pay. I wanted to see how unprofitable it is. It doesn't pay off at all, no. And that is why we ordered App Store optimization, so to speak, and the user equivalent opinion on where to pivot, what to fix, what needs to be fixed, where to make a purchase. Therefore, this is an open question. We understand that this does not bring profits, it does not pay off the traffic. We are now introducing more advertising, more rewards. We turned on the interview for Portugal every 6th match and are currently watching the metrics.
Series, the problem is not user acquisition, but game design.
Yes, we will come to it. But those who observe us are always curious as to why it is not being purchased by anyone. We have mentioned Unity at this point, and it is still intriguing to see what is happening under the hood, so we are currently discussing it. You are currently expressing a strong opinion about the fact that they included advertising. Before including advertisements, kindly inform me about the number of interstitial and private banners you have, I believe.
There were no banners, there was no interstitial, advertising was added, ads on the user, 3.5, 3.
What is the duration of a single user's session on average?
The duration of engagement is 24 minutes. On average, each person spends 43 minutes per day, divided into 2 sessions of approximately 20 minutes each. A lengthy period of time, however, we have not yet discovered the optimal locations to incorporate rewards, interstitials for countries that remain impartial. We are still testing this.
Yes, game designers will have conversations about it. And from my point of view, I will say that if you want to continue making purchases and so to speak, yes, it needs to be added there at least. A single user had an allocation of around 6 reward PCs provided by PlusInter for each individual user's benefit.
Interesting. For the Medcores, of course, we haven't found rewards anywhere in competitors. This is interstitially. We are testing interstitials. Mostly all rewards are used. Good.
Then Denis and Alex are going to arrive here at a later time. Most likely, Alex will provide more detailed information regarding how to monetize the game through in-app purchases and how to conduct tests with them. So that, for instance, 60% of your earnings would be from advertising and all other income would come from purchases or vice versa, but products are already communicating with the individuals.
I would like to mention, wait a moment, that the statement you made about having 6 video advertisements per session per user, is this considered typical for hyper-casual projects?
That is the reason why I say that the primary focus here should also be on the act of buying. And when the guys talk about shopping, then we can divide this number conditionally by 2 or by 3. If we have 40% monetization from purchases and 60% from advertising, then of course we don't need 6 impressions. From my perspective, it is evident that we will not proceed with advertising or purchasing that alternative. Furthermore, we will not take any action until we have fully resolved the issue with monetization. In this case, it is better to monetize advertising if the main focus is on buying. And then, as an illustration, one interstitial or a pair of the same AeroVard will be adequate to monetize the game and generate revenue from it, taking into consideration that the playtime of the game is very good. So, let's go through the competitors. We have the initial participant in the competition. We are solely able to observe here, in a general sense, the specific locations where he has downloads. the specific locations where he has some installations. That is why Vietnam arrived at this point for some reason. There is Russia, Brazil, and a belt. These are more belts that can be purchased compared to European countries, which is a logical conclusion. If we go across, I have already gone across the same path.
Creatives?
Creatives. And here, Magic does not exhibit creativity to us. That is the reason why.
And if they buy in social networks, will he show it here? For example, on TikTok?
In terms of the manner in which they are purchased. If individuals make a purchase through bloggers on TikTok, there will not be any tracking, because bloggers operate through a separate link where they insert a pixel, and Magic, the platform, does not track it. If they are acquired through the classic user requisition, then they will be displayed on the screen. However, it is not always the case and not the entire network. We have another instance, another competitor. Here we have additional intriguing data, and their retaliation is more, let's say, captivating. And here we already possess creative materials. Nevertheless, once more, if you wish, we can proceed to record the session from there, as AppMagic lacks the ability to provide any sources of information. On this day, for an inexplicable reason that eludes my understanding, I will initiate the process of restarting once again. We do not disclose our sources, but let us take a closer look at the creatives and analyze them in detail. They are quite enjoyable, the gameplay is well designed, buttons are present, and nothing obstructs the screen during play. I genuinely appreciated and had a positive impression of them.
We possess horizontal colors. We will need to generate and assess vertical and horizontal creatives in order to determine their effectiveness and suitability for our needs.
Yes, mostly you see there are buttons on the nose. At the end, there was a beautiful shot. The creatives are quite well done.
They have, if I'm not mistaken, a large distribution across countries. That is, they do not focus on any specific one, like they are all different. Can this be somehow determined why? So here you can observe that they have a greater amount of advertising in Taiwan and a greater number of downloads in Taiwan. Or just looking at this review, I see Indonesia, Russia, Vietnam, and in terms of time, Hong Kong, Taiwan, USA, freebies brought by countries other than those making purchases, not by the countries that make the purchases.
Downloads are entirely downloads. Additionally, organic material is also soaring through this area. If they engage in some form of association in that place, here you can observe the complete picture. In revenue, we also see total. Complete retaliation by nations. It is impossible to perceive the location of their purchases in this place. We could possibly be here? Yes, here. For some unknown reason, the ruler is not being displayed correctly for me today. We can then either record the session separately or observe it as a separate viewing. In this place, occasionally, they demonstrate to us a breakdown by source and by country of purchase, providing information on where they were obtained from. But again, the revenge from the procurement traffic will not be visible here. Understood. Furthermore, I also wanted to draw attention to the creatives. You see, here we have videos. I showed them, and they work exceptionally well on HTML too. You just had a question that you wanted to ask me.
Yes, I am just, even in this current example, impressions 2600 against impressions 2200, turns out. And
these are very small numbers.
Yes, and the dynamics there, the curve of the graph, the fact that these impressions were point-like, and the videos, it turns out, took a long time to launch.
Let's go. Now let's watch another match of the third competitor together with our friends and enjoy the game. She left her as a snack. The picture here is completely different. Another, we see that all the traffic is from Russia. There is a little bit from Indonesia and Asian countries. But nevertheless, all the revenue is from the United States and Europe.
Edin, I comprehended your place of origin. It is clear and evident to me.
And unfortunately, there is no purchase visible for this game either.
And if they end up being purchases that are not visible, does that imply that they are not typical purchases?
They don't buy anything. And what about social ones, for example? Because I see they're not stocking up. Look at the number of downloads per month.
Yes, something seems to have dropped.
It is extremely strange that we have a total of 30,000 units in our possession.
Revenue, yes. It is not strange because in such projects like a thermos, the retention of players in your cohort can come from as far back as a year ago, so there is nothing strange here.
Yes, in 30 days.
Interesting.
We will discuss those topics a little later. The revenue generated over a period of 30 days is obtained.
Yes, absolutely right. Last 30 days are just yours, just thanks to the long term he plays, and that's it. And here's the payment. So, you shouldn't rely on it as some kind of panacea. Look at downloads and install from the lifetime and you'll understand.
There we switched gears for a year.
Well, yes, it's obvious. And we see that the guys have extremely high art. How much is here? Almost under $4, 3.5, taking into account that they have only 14% traffic from the USA. Everything else there, look, red, yellow there at 8%, yes.
Let's just look at the numbers for the USA. Darian, tell me, how many downloads do we have in the States and how much revenue? Revenue of 6 million, 10.
Bucks for installation. However, that is the case when you do not have 15D1. We are currently discussing something that is completely impossible to discuss. So, when does the project exist? When you have some metrics. When your D1 is at 15%, we cannot discuss neither OSO nor marketing, absolutely nothing. We need to discuss how to fix the game. But I'll tell you about it later. Sorry.
Here's an interesting question in analytics. One analytics shows us 26%, another shows 15%. I believe Nginx displays 15%, correct? Affirmative.
Google 26%, Firebase 26%, not much.
If it were 40%, any MMP you have could show 25%, for example. Well, even for Firebase, 6 is not much there. If it were 40, some MMP could show 25, for example. But 26, again, we don't gossip there. Well, first of all, we haven't looked at your analytics. Do you have any significant data at all? What is happening inside there? We can see there are 15, there are 4. That is all we have observed. So when I see these numbers, I clearly understand that the project can be closed.
Yes, we will discuss it a bit later. Currently, I would like to express my gratitude to our partner from Magic for providing us with access. We can look at the statistics and our analyses become more interesting. And our audience can discover a link beneath this video where AppMagic offers free access and a trial for a fairly good and extended period of time that is quite long. So please come in, make use of it. I will now proceed to do a screen sharing session and continue answering all of your questions, Gleb. What information do you have about the user division?
I am intrigued by the question of whether it is reasonable to acquire Asian countries due to the fact that one of the markets for such games is Asia, specifically Vietnam and Indonesia, which are both located in Southeast Asia. How much will it cost approximately? We currently have CPI in Brazil at 10, in America at 40. I am wondering if there is at least a fork of purchases that is specifically designed for Asian countries.
Let's attempt the entire world because there are instances where men purchase India and it proves to be profitable for them, but we are not discussing such gaming segments. If Asia is attending, including Korea and Japan, you should make an effort to expand your reach in order to make sales. However, in order to ensure a profitable outcome, you must first restore the game's product metrics and marketing metrics to their normal levels and strike a balance between advertising and purchases. What you are saying right now, approximate CPI, is completely irrelevant now. The experience you have, unfortunately, does not pay off. We will be able to talk about some more numbers that will be relevant for procurement only after a certain amount of work has been done with the product.
And I also want to add about Asia such a point that games created for Asian markets should have a UI tailored to Asia. And localization is desirable because not everyone in Asia knows English, in such highly, roughly speaking, payment countries like Taiwan, Hong Kong. Not all individuals in Japan will be happy with the presence of the English language in the game, and when we take a look, for example, at competitors who have achieved great success in Asian markets, it signifies that they are able to attract these users with their exceptional design and captivating visuals. Based on the visual you have now, it's not guaranteed that it will be successful because it looks more Europeanized.
This is accurate, and in addition, you will need to continue enhancing the Clio files and give consideration to the color scheme. For Asian market, this is important.
Well, yes, interesting, thank you. I will add a small case, all because the perception of color for Europeans conditionally yes, and for Asians it is completely different. They perceive colors in a slightly different manner. If you pay attention to, for example, all anime, it is super bright, like fo, flying and really bright, well, except for some stylized ones, which are not as vibrant. For them, this is normal color perception. Well, I mean, you see, I clicked on your link, and yes, I saw that you are into art. As an artist, you should know this in theory.
No, yes, this is not new info for me, I understand. I just look from the POV of the business direction, whether it's worth trying, interesting, to do, to test, to throw everything. Okay, well, no problem. I found out about it, now I will save time and money on it.
To go to Asia, you must clearly understand, well, not even like that, like when everything is bad for you, then everything is bad for you. You're failing here, everything's bad. That is, it refers to Zoryan's words. You can spend as much as you want there on purchases, try on a Sona, something else. First, set it up here. Get your payback, some kind of yes plus minus there. Yes, so that you clearly understand that, for example, there, ROAS 180 days, you have there, I don't know, some semi-positive there, I don't know, in 90% into something else. Yes. Next, you see the following cartoon. Here you have more growth points, and you understand that your annual cohort will pay off there at 110, 115%, and you understand that you are okay here on this and so on. Then you go to the individuals who have funds and say, guys, we have a cool product, but we lack the necessary funds to scale up the product. Guys, they're telling you, great, let's look at the metrics. You're like, here we break even. All right. And this difference of 15%, yes, it will be precisely this magnitude of traffic for you. So the question you had there, whether it's worth looking for a publisher, at this stage, it's definitely a no. Because the publisher looks at D1 15%, gentlemen.
Or even 26%.
We will simply waste an absurd amount of time for no reason, yes.
For medical projects, this is extremely important. If you want to pursue a career in the medical corps, you must understand that it involves a comprehensive and time-consuming process, which is essentially a lengthy and rigorous journey. Yes, it is clear that there is some kind of plateau after the 7th AI. Yes, and there you need to understand that you should have a very high RAID. That is, these are 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th purchases. And this already speaks about the balance of the game and the game as a whole, which unfortunately I do not see in the game yet.